Thursday Thoughts. Actually, here, let me turn this on. Thursday Thoughts here, SDH AM. John here, you there. Thanks for dropping by, as you always do. It's another 50-50 show. It is day 3 of the GHSA championships. We're going to get a little coverage here in hour number 1. One of the big matchups coming up around the corner. We got to catch up with both coaches here in hour number 1. It is going to be a visit with Curtis Engsberg, the head coach at Marist, and then he's coming up about 9:15, and then Johnny Jackson, head coach at BT, he's going to be joining us at a quarter till. They are squaring off Friday at 5 o'clock at Duluth High School, and it is in the Quad A girls final, so we're going to catch up with both of them and find out about their seasons coming up here in hour number 1. Hour number 2 is the Power Hour. As always, it's Nino and Nico. Nino joining us from Lima, Peru, where we get to find out about everything going on in the Portuguese League, in the Copas, World Cup Chronicles, anything else on his mind that comes across his bow. And we follow that up in the final half hour with our buddy Niko Moreno, where we get to discuss everything that went down last night in Major League Soccer on a midweek, crazy, ridiculous, 11 gazillion goals scored Wednesday. I'm going to do the math real quick. 1, 9, 13, 17, 20, 25, 32, 37, 41, 42, 45, 48, 53, 58. 58 goals scored in 14 matches yesterday. And we had our own brands of chaos. 8 goals in Messi and Friends and Cincinnati. 5-goal thriller Red Bulls and Crew. 7-goal thriller Purple Team and Philadelphia Mike Gramajo from West TV in Orlando is joining us to bat leadoff tomorrow. 5-goal thriller in Frisco, Vancouver, and Dallas. Sebastian Berhalter comes up big. Where has this version of Sporting Kansas City been? Putting 3 on LAG, getting a win at home. Hamas wrapped up his tenure with the Loons in a 1-0 loss to Colorado. St. Louis City knocked off LAFC. RSL beat Houston. Jarrett was there. His report should be coming up later this morning. San Diego put 5 on Austin at the Murph Dragon. Vasquez scoring twice. El Paratero, Anders Dreyer scoring in the 17th. Soma and Ingevartsen scoring as well. Austin laid an egg. And then you had 5 in Seattle and San Jose. San Jose had a 1-0 lead, and they would lose 3-2. So all of that, we're going to catch up with Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart. That's going to be coming up final half hour of the show. Noon today, it is Red Clay Thursday, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente, because it rhymes. We are going to have, off the top, it's going to be Dusty Jeanette, the head coach at GMC. On the boys' side, we're going to catch up with Marcia Thompson from Tryon. We're going to catch up with Michelle McKinnon, the head coach at Atkinson County. And we're going to hear from Dalton head coach Matt Cheeves. Then I leave here, head down to Thomaston. Luke Wentstill and I are going to be having play-by-play duties for the 2 matches today. Thomasville and Motto, Class A D1 girls. That one's at 4 o'clock. Then it is Class A D1 boys at 6:30 with Thomasville and Armurchie. 6A girls is tonight, this afternoon, 5 o'clock. Maddie and Jason from Duluth, West Forsyth and Walton, 2 of the top 5 teams nationally, squaring off NFHS Network, 5 o'clock in 6A girls. 6A boys, 7:30-ish. It is Meadow Creek and Walton. It is Jose Rodriguez and Bruce Wade. It is Meadow Creek and Walton. Once again, 2 teams ranked top 10 nationally on the boys' side. That one's 7:30-ish with Maddie and Jason on your Thursday. So Luke Wentstill and me. Yeah, Luke Wentstill and me for 4 and 6:30 with Thomasville's boys and girls taking on Model and Armurchie. And then you get 2 top 10 matchups with West Forsyth and Walton on the girls' side. And you end up with Meadow Creek and Walton on the boys' side. So that is the rundown for Red Clay Thursday. And then Red Clay Friday is going to be pretty quick because we will have talked to all the coaches. They're going to be heading in unless the coach wants to crash the show. And it's just going to be a review up to that point. So Red Clay Thursday, Red Clay Friday. And Friday, by the way, we get to catch up with the CEO of the Field of Dreams Academy, Terry Johnson. He's going to be joining us at 10:30 to discuss what they're all about, their recent FIFA grant, all the things. and an education there as well. Mike's going to bat leadoff with us from Middle Florida, and we'll find out what's going on in and around the planet, get you ready for the weekend. Atlanta and the Purple Team on a very, very busy week across the board. So good morning to all of y'all, however you are accessing us today. So that is the rundown this morning, and it's going to be crazy. Opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Starting your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied, notes of walnut, semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff powered by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but it was in addition to everything that has been seen in the college section with how the game is going to be changed in the calendar. We know about the calendar changing and all the rules that came across the board. This one was interesting. Came across yesterday. NCAA Division I Men's Oversight Committee has approved a 2-semester playing season model effective 27-28. In the fall, you have up to 18 matches from late August to the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Then you get a break where you can have up to 10 matches from mid-February onward. Total contests remain at 25. The College Cup moves to the spring. Student athletes, you get a better academic athletic balance, fewer midweek matches, more recovery time, stronger campus integration. Transfer notification window changes to one 15-day spring window after the championships. This is an idea from the Oversight Committee. It's going to be subject to a final cabinet review in June. So that has come across the bow of NCAA coaches in Division I. And those positives, the rationale for the recommendation was more balanced academically and all that kind of stuff. So the Oversight Committee once again gets that adjustment with the 115 consecutive day window in the spring. And you get the transfer window, which is now 45 days, split into 2 windows. The 115-day consecutive window in the transfer process opens a day after the D1 Men's Soccer Championships. So this is adopting legislation effective August 1st of next year, subject to review by the Division I cabinet during the meetings coming up in about 6 weeks. So as of right now, that adopted legislation set to occur August 1st of next year. But they got to look at it first in about 6 weeks with the Division I cabinet meeting to determine whether or not this is, in fact, going to be the case. So if this passes the cabinet meeting in 6 weeks for the NCAA, it'll be 18 plus an 18 window, a 10 window max. You get your holidays off, but your contests stay at 25, and you can figure out your schedule however you want. Next time we have KCD on, I want to talk to her about this. She's going to be busy next couple of weeks because of Open Cup and match compression in Major League Soccer. So when she comes back a couple of weeks, I want to catch up with her about this specifically, considering she was a Division I college athlete, and find out what she thinks about this in addition to all the matches that she's had and is going to be having over the next couple of weeks. So that is the fun part here. That came across our bow yesterday as a part of all of the NCAA activity that's been going on the last couple of days. But this came out. So 25-game schedule now split in 2 instead of the sprint that we see in the spring. So 18 and 10, maximum of 25 across the board. And you can kind of see what you're staring at there. So contest limited 25, 18 from late August until the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Spring segment, spring sprint, really. Mid-February, teams playing a max of 10 before the D1 Men's Soccer Championships. D1 Men's Soccer moved to the spring. Specific dates obviously determined later. So you get that shift in the world right there, and that's what you're looking at when it comes to the NCAA and their new idea. So we'll see what happens there after the governance update that was sent to us yesterday for a major shift in Division I soccer that would be breaking down right there on all of our thought panels. So as always, it's great to kind of start the day off with something like that, give you something to think about. We'll find out what it's going to look like in the NCAA. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Another couple of updates before we move on with the morning. Down in and let me know if you've heard this one before. You end up with another ruling against our friend John Texter. And apparently, Botafogo, since they are in another transfer ban, I was going to say, let me know if you've heard about transfer bans in Botafogo before. So, Botafogo transfer ban. Now it appears that if it is not rectified, if the financials at Botafogo are not rectified, you could have a point deduction applied to Botafogo, which at the moment, if it is applied, would put them in a relegation zone. They have 90 days, and this is according to TNT Sports in Brazil and Ataque Futbolero. They have 90 days to pay $25 million to Atlanta United to make up for everything that they haven't paid. They paid the first tranche of 10, but then you get massive interest coming around the other side. If they don't meet the deadline, they could lose 6 points in the Brasileiro. Today, they would be if that was applied, they'd be second to last in relegation spots. If this was in fact applied today. So they got 90 days to come up with the $25 million, according to TNT in Brazil. So you now have them on the clock again for like the 98th time. So Botafogo on the clock to a points deduction, in addition to the idea of the transfer ban. And you can go to FIFA. You can go to their website, and you can sit there and look at it and go, oh, okay, they are in a transfer ban. And you can keep an eye on your favorite teams and their transfer bans. You literally can do that now. Every single day of the week, you can go, hey, you know what? It'll be very, very cool. But you can literally go to the FIFA. You can go to the FIFA website, and you can check the teams that are on transfer bans. There is a section. Let me see if I can find the section real quick. FIFA transfer bans. It's like a what is it? It's like a legal tag. Yes, knowledge.fifa.com. And they have registration bans. Literally, they have registration bans. Like our friends at CFR 1907 Cluj, they've got like 5 separate transfer bans at the moment. And then if you keep going down the page, you will eventually see, once again, the transfer ban of Botafogo. So it is there, and 90 days to come up with $25 million for Atlanta United and Thiago Almada, or you get a points deduction. At least that's where it's looking. All right. Time to check in on the middle of a bracket. If you're in the middle of a bracket, that means you're still playing. Championships right here. Check in with Curtis Engsberg over at Marist. Where are you, sir?
Hey, John. Good morning. Yeah, sorry, I jumped in. Can you hear me okay, or is it echoey?
No, you're good. That's all good.
Okay,
Where are you?
Great. We are in what we call the bubble,
Okay.
the senior dining room.
Okay. So are there any seniors in the dining room with you, or are you there by yourself?
No, okay. we're all. They're supposed to be in class.
Okay. So I didn't know if you had a live studio audience or not. That's why I was asking.
No, nothing like that.
Thank you for dropping in, getting ready for Friday at 5. I go to my quad A bracket here, and I look in the middle, and I'll try to get it to where there's no shine, but I see I see a Marist right here, and I see a BT right here.
Yeah.
And BT will be joining us at about a quarter till, so in about 25 minutes. So after you, then there's a chance to catch our breath, and we go to the other side of the equation.
There you go.
When I look at this bracket, you survive Westminster. You survive. It was a matchup with North Dakota, putting 6 on the board for them. You put 6 on Cambridge, and then you didn't have any problems getting a shutout of Central Carroll in round number 1. When you look at this run that you've been on here in the postseason, what sticks out in your head from, say, 30,000 feet?
I mean, it's really been the girls have done a great job of just one game at a time. Like we looked at the bracket, looked at how things were set up this year, and we knew it was going to be a good competitive run, which is a little scary on the front end because you never really know how a game's going to play out. Soccer is one of those beautiful things where sometimes you might feel like you're the best team, and the best team doesn't always win. But it's just been one game at a time. It's kept us sharp for sure because we've had to deal with some playoff runs where we've had easier second round and quarterfinal games even that haven't really challenged us. But like Cambridge was a really good team, had some dangerous players. North Oconee similar. They had a good core in the middle, dangerous players up front. So we've just really focused, probably emphasized defense and defending more than I have in the past to try to counter those threats and make sure teams couldn't catch us off guard and score easy goals or early goals on us. But it also, I think for us, the team's having a lot of fun, man. They play together. They've really bought into each other this year. That's I think been the most enjoyable thing to watch is they just love getting out on the field and playing together because they love each other. And I think you see that joy in terms of like how they play, and they don't have any fear. They're confident. It's been a lot of fun to coach this team.
Right now, depending on the poll, number 4 nationally, number 3 here in the state of Georgia, 19-0. If I had told you all of those things beginning of the year, what would you have told me if we'd caught it back up today if I told you all of those things at the beginning of the season?
I don't know that anybody really knew how this was all going to play out. We obviously stack a really competitive non-region schedule. Played Greenbrier, played Wesleyan, played Walton, who are all playing this week. And it's, it kind of just goes back again to it's just been one game at a time, right? Like we have just like kept the focus on the next game, not gotten too caught up in the big picture of things, not gotten too caught up in, what the ranking is at the current time. That was a good conversation that we had before the Walton game, because at that time we were both like 1 and 2 in the state in like the latest poll, and the girls had seen that. And, some of them have had that experience of we've had teams that have been really highly ranked the past few years. And, it doesn't really matter if you're number 1 or number 2 in the state on March 30th. That's not our objective. So it's just kind of a current picture, but it doesn't really change what we're trying to do, and just keep plugging away one game at a time. The Walton game was a lot of fun. I mean, our non-region schedule has been great. It's really prepared us really well for these moments. And, I've tried to manufacture a little bit of pressure on the girls throughout the season so that we're not coming into this game feeling like, oh man, this is the first time we felt this way and we don't know how to deal with it.
You've only given up 7 goals this season.
Yeah.
And you've scored 130. That is a rather large margin when it comes to goal difference. When it comes to the defense that you've had this season, obviously that's been one of your hallmarks. For those who haven't had the chance to see the defense this year, what has it been like to see them hum to this degree to where they've only given up 7 goals in 19 matches?
Yeah, I mean, well, it starts at the back all the way with our keeper. Campbell's amazing. And Campbell Fletcher, like she going to go play in Lafayette College next year. And she's captain for a reason, right? Like she holds the standard at such a high level. I mean, even like in the semifinal, if you got to watch, Westminster had a great opportunity, great shot right in like the last minute of the game. Their freshman, Bryn Buchanan, hit a great curling shot, looked like it was like upper 90 bound, and Campbell just came flying out of nowhere to swat it away. And that just speaks, it's 3-0 at that point. There's a minute left in the game. It doesn't doesn't matter to her. I mean, one of the things we preach all the time is full 80, right? You play the 80 minutes at the same level. It doesn't matter what the score line is. It doesn't matter how you're feeling. Like, you're out there putting your best effort in the whole 80 minutes. And that was a perfect example of it. And I think that's been a huge part of our success, for sure, has just been to be so solid at the back. I mean, you've got Campbell there. You've got Addison Winters, who's another senior captain, who's a leader. And everybody knows that she will do whatever it takes and puts her body on the line. And that inspires them a lot. We have seniors on either side of her at right center back and at left back. And so like Aubrey and Isabel have been great as well, just in terms of playing their part, right? I mean, that's the thing about defenders, is you don't have to be, all world on the ball, but you've just got to be a really solid defender. And that's kind of the biggest thing about this team, is everybody appreciates their role and just will do their job. Same with our right back, Bella Joes, has been starting all year. She's a freshman, and she's a little tiger. Like, she just loves to defend. Finds a way to get in the way, and she's very quick. So like, you beat her once and you think you're free, and then 2 seconds later she's right back there in front of you. So it's been a really tough unit. They work together, they cover each other well, and they've really, I think, taken to some of the guidance that we've given them in terms of how to work as a unit and cover each other, and it's helped us out a lot.
5 different double-digit goal scorers for you, but in addition to that, you've had 11 others score. Obviously, top of the table, it's Sammy with 24, then you've got Sophie with 23, and then you've got Ella Malali with 17 and 17. So I don't think you can get any more balanced than that. Yeah. You got Yasmin with 11, and then Charlotte Saporito with 14. I mean, if somebody's playing you and they're looking at you on tape, it's like, okay, who do we cover and who do we stop? And so obviously it's a great luxury there as well, to sit there and it's like, okay, well, if gravity from defense is going to double somebody, that obviously means that somebody else is wide open, and they've been converting those chances for you this year.
Yeah. It's been beautiful. As part of the fun, right? It's a team effort this year. Like, nobody's really out there. It's taken a little bit, I would say, to bend everybody into that of like, it doesn't matter who scores the goals as long as we're winning, right? And fortunately, I think everybody's realized that when we have that attitude, there's plenty of goals for everyone. And that's been the really impressive part, is just to see, very talented players buy into that idea and choose to make the easy slide across goal for the easy tap in, instead of trying to take a chance from a tougher angle and try to score one for themselves, right? I mean, that's whether it's that or like the little combinations across the box, choosing not to settle for the 25-yard shot. We came in last year and like, this was kind of one of our biggest points of emphasis, was prioritizing better opportunities for scoring, because we, like last year, I felt like we settled for a lot of shots, and it was really difficult sometimes in some games, to convert those and keep them on target. And one extra pass, if you're able to slide somebody in, and when we have speed like we do, that can get behind a defender in those opportunities, now you've got a real easy opportunity right in front of goal, 1v1 with a keeper. So they really bought into all that, and it's been, they deserve all the credit, because honestly, I always try to remind myself, this is a player's game. Like, they got to go out and they got to be fully confident in the decisions that they're making, and they got to be on the same page together. And that's ultimately what leads to the kind of success and performance that I think we've been able to achieve this year.
8 seniors, if my math is right, and you're having to test me with math early in the morning, which is never a good thing. When you look at this group of seniors and what they've been able to contribute to the program, what sticks in your head?
It's an awesome group, man. Like, I mean, we have 3 that wear armbands during the game, but honestly, all 8 of them have been a huge part of the leadership of this team in one facet or another. And some of them, don't get as much playing time, but they're still in the background. They're huge leaders in terms of supporting their team and caring for their teammates. I really cannot speak highly enough to it's, again, everybody just like finding a role and finding a way to support the team and support each other. And a lot of them have stepped up. Like 3 of them really didn't have a lot of playing time the past few years, and they've stepped into starting roles and have been major contributors for us. So it's been fun to watch. That's part of the benefit and the joy of coaching here is seeing them grow from 9th grade through 12th grade. And each of them had a different journey in terms of their soccer career. Like because really only Campbell and Ella are the only 2 that have been on the team from the very beginning, from 9th grade. Kate joined like mid-year and as a basketball player, but she didn't really get a lot of playing time that 9th grade year. Then we had a few more, like Aubrey and Addison and Charlotte joined the team in 10th grade. So it's been a different journey for each of them, but I think they all really appreciate the experience that they've had, and they are doing a great job of putting it back and kind of like showing the youngsters how to get the most out of the experience and grow as people and enjoy the soccer while they're doing that.
So when I mentioned BT, the other team that is going to be there in this championship final, what sticks in your head there when I mentioned Blessed Trinity too?
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I think we're really excited to test ourselves again against BT. Last year, obviously, I think everybody's still a little sour about how that went, because I felt like that was the best final that we'd played of the 4 that I've coached in terms of their confidence and their mindset and being ready to play. And we just couldn't find a way to get the ball in the goal, and BT only had a couple chances and they got their one. So, I think we're excited to come back and get another shot at that. This year, it really hasn't, I wouldn't say it's been a focus of the team. We really haven't talked about it much or talked about BT much. We've really just been focused on the next game. But I think the girls are excited that BT also made it through on the other side. There's a lot of overlap, obviously, in terms of like relationships and club teammates and things like that. So it's set up for a fantastic Friday night. This is what you want, right? We talk about all the time, the pressure is a privilege. You don't want to play, you can look at our results. We play plenty of games that not the kind of games that you're going to remember, right? And the girls that have been on the team have had the experience of having some of those games that there was pressure and there was nerves, but that's what the lifelong memories get made from, right? That's, the Popes and the Roswells of 2024. That's what all the seniors put as the most memorable games and everything. And I hope they're about to make, their most memorable memory tomorrow. So
when it comes to your non-region schedule, considering your pedigree, is it difficult to find non-region opponents these days? And is it going to be even more so with reclassification and such?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that for sure. Reclass not being quite as big of a deal as the PSR shift, the go into the formula for all the brackets, because certainly, teams want to schedule games that they can win. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but really, it's not a challenge to find big teams to play us, right? I think everybody's in the same boat of when you have aspirations of playing in state championship games, you have to get a little bit of experience with that ahead of time, right? You have to play some of those tough games. You have to find ways, like I said before, to manufacture some of that pressure and find some of those games that are really going to test your team and see what you're made of, and also expose what you still need to work on in order to be the best that you can be at the right time in the season. So yeah, that part's, I would say, not really hard to find. The formula is adding a little bit of a wrinkle this year, but really, honestly, for me, the biggest scheduling problem is just how our school schedule doesn't mesh with anything else. Because we have weeks that we're in that everybody else is off, and we have weeks that we're off that everybody else is in. So being able to get enough games, we're required to play 14. And the last couple of years, I've only scheduled 15 or 16 to begin with. So it's a little bit tricky, but no, we search out those kind of top level games, like I mentioned, the Waltons, the Harrisons, Greenbriers. Wesleyan was a great match. Wesleyan was fantastic for us. It's because having to figure out how to defend Merrimack. I mean, I was looking at our playoff bracket and knowing that we're going to come up against players like Reed Tingley at Cambridge. Westminster had several up front that we had to keep track of. BT has several. North Oconee had Nolan. Nolan's a very dangerous player. So knowing that was going to be an issue that we had to deal with playoffs, like Wesleyan was a great opportunity for us to start figuring that out ahead of time. And they actually scored first. I don't know if you saw like the storyline of that game, but like we had a breakdown. We had a corner early, made several mistakes on their counterattack in terms of defending. And Merrimack got through 1v1, boom, scored. Like 3 minutes into the game. Like 3 minutes into the game, we're down 1-0, right? And then remember, that's early in the season. Like the belief was building, but it wasn't really intact yet. But here's the thing, like that I have to give the leaders credit for, and I have to give the team credit for. Merrimack scored that goal 3 minutes into the game. 12 seconds later, the ball's in the other goal. We literally took that kickoff, went down to the other end, and scored. Put it back to 1-1. And then we scored 3 more in the next 10 minutes. Like that's a statement, right? Like that's the response that you want in those kind of moments. North Oconee was similar. Like we scored first, but then they scored 2 minutes later. Like boom, boom. And then there's a little bit of a lull at 1-1. It took about 10 more minutes. We had some chances that we didn't convert. But then starting at about 11 or 10 minutes left in the first half, 5 minutes left in that half, it was 4-1. We scored a flurry on them, 3 goals in about 5 minutes. And that's the kind of like explosiveness that if we can get the ball rolling and get that going, I think that's what's gonna really help us through, is having some of that explosive ability and background. Like we know that that's possible. We know that if we don't score this chance, next one might go in too. Like there's going to be more, and we're going to get some.
Have you figured out how you're going to get from the Marist school to Duluth, tackling 285 on the top end and 85 north on a Friday afternoon? Are you leaving right after breakfast or something?
It's not terrible logistics. Actually, like 141 is a secret weapon. Honestly, that's the ticket. You don't have to worry about the rush hour and stuff like that. Because normally, especially on a Friday, that'd be tough. But 141 is going to be the road well traveled for us. So
nicely done.
All good.
Nicely done. As always, Curtis, it's great to see you. And
thanks for having me.
It's
a conversation.
Look, you're playing for a title. I got to knock on your door and see if we can figure out what to grab you. But and I want to thank the seniors for leaving you alone in the bubble, so you can have this great conversation. And BT's coming up around the corner. Let's see. So that will be Nick Alifi, Justin Hanover on the call for NFHS Network.
Yeah, sounds right.
You are half of the equation, and it's always great to see you, my friend. If you ever want to come in and vent your spleen about anything and everything, you know now where the key is under the mat or the garage door opener and whatever it is. And so, Nelly, I got to come in. I got to talk about something. So
perfect.
It's all good. Just good luck and go have fun.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
You bet.
Yep. See ya.
Curtis Engsberg, head coach at the Marist School, half of the equation for what's going on involving Quad A girls right here. So the other half of the equation coming in a second is Johnny Jackson, head coach at BT. So we'll find out what's going on there. It's great to catch up with Curtis because usually I end up seeing Curtis in like game situations. It's like he's always getting ready to do a match or something, and he's getting ready to coach. And it's like furious emails and coaching and game go. And it's been really cool to catch up with all of these coaches and just kind of catch them in their environments and get them out of class. That's the other biggest thing. Getting all these coaches out of class so they can come out and hang out. And if they need letters for being late or anything like that, then it's a great chance for us to catch up with them and find out what's going on. If they need notes to get back into class and things like that, then that's what we're here for. Curtis Engsberg, head coach at Marist. He's 5 o'clock Friday afternoon, and it is Nick and Justin on NFHS Network as they get ready for that one before they finish up their week with Dalton and Midtown. They should be the last game on the board. They should be, unless Atkinson County and GMC goes forever, and that starts an hour earlier on Friday night at 6:30 in Thomaston at Upson Lee. So Nick and Justin will have that one for you. Nick Leafy, Justin Hanover, they'll have that one for you, and it'll be a fun one to break down on the Friday. So let's see. I've got to find out. So knowledge, is it knowledge? Yeah, here we go. Knowledge.fifa.com registration fans. Let me go back and see if I can see. I can actually do a search. Botafogo. There we go. Club name. Okay. So as of the 7th of May, it is a 3 registration period ban. And so that is the most recent one that is attached to Botafogo. And the male side, it says Botafogo, SAF Botafogo, CONMEBOL Brazil male 070526. They reverse the day and the month. So as of the 7th of May, that is when this new registration ban kicked in, because they had one on the 20th of April. Then that got wiped out. Now they've got another one back on May the 7th for 3 periods. And so apparently if this one isn't fixed and the debt to Atlanta United is not paid in 90 days, it could be a 6-point penalty for Botafogo, and that would put them pretty much close to relegation. So keep an eye on that over the next 90 days. I know that yesterday also, the meetings that we were keeping an eye on in Vancouver involving the Vancouver Whitecaps, we'll let you know what's going on there. Meetings were positive, may lead to a stadium deal. So let's find out. All right, let's go to BT and find out what's going on the flip side of things. You just missed Curtis, Johnny.
Could have heard all of his game plan, right?
Well, I mean, you can go back and play the rest of the show. I mean, when
Gotcha.
the show is over, you can go back and listen. But
sure.
If there's ever any kind of collisions when it comes to guests or anything, I always like to have them ask questions of one another. But
okay.
So I got that half of the equation. And so once again, in the interest of equal time, here is my quad A bracket in pen. And that means that there's a BT up here at the top of it, right there.
Sure.
If I had told you that this would be what we're discussing, that you had a team that's 18-2, and that you were 5th nationally, 4th in the state, and playing for a state title at 18-2 going up against the Marist school, what would you have told me? As he's frozen. Okay, hang on just a second. There we go.
For a second, somehow.
Yeah, it freezes. Sometimes when you're in that kind of an environment, what browser are you using? Let me do it this way. Hang on. That's what, hang on. What browser are you using? Because, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. Okay, so hang on just a second. Hang on. All right, so I'm going to do a little handiwork here, because there are, when you're using, I actually got some helpful hints. So I'm going to talk to Johnny here in the green room. So they told me when we were having this before, it was, where is it? Hang on. I picked the wrong one, so give me a second. Where is it? Not this one. I don't need this one. I need the other one. So it was, what did they tell me? So, okay. If streaming from an Android device, use Chrome. If it's iOS, use Safari. Use a dedicated Wi-Fi connection when streaming. So those were my helpful hints. So I don't know if that helps out or not when it comes to the helpful hints there. Did that help at all?
I mean, I'm using iPhone and I'm on Safari, so
okay.
That's,
okay. So all right. So let's see what kind of trouble we can get into here. Right. So really quickly, like I said, if I had told you that you'd be top 5 in the country and that you were in this battle and freezing up and all this kind of stuff, then that's where we are, of course. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be one of these mornings. Okay, so it's one of these mornings. Firewalls are lovely things. I was gonna say, do you have a desktop
Let me
near?
let me see if I can get off the Wi-Fi here and maybe be on.
Okay. All right. So let's see if we can do that. All right. So let's do that, and we'll see what happens here. All right. So there are times, like I said, when you're dealing with firewalls and you're dealing with things that you end up with these kinds of conversations where it's freezing and things, and then folks don't freeze, and then they do freeze. And okay. So all right. Let's try this. All right. Talk to me. And you. All right. I see you. And it's kind of buffering. And I see you drinking coffee. Can you hear me? I can see you fine. I see you, and I'm trying to see. Can you talk to me real quick? Let me see if I have any audio from you. And it froze. Of course it did. Of course it froze. Okay. So this is the fun part that we're dealing with sometimes with firewalls, and it gets out of control sometimes. So, like I said, we're efforting Johnny Jackson in various forms. So let's see what we can. Let's see what we can do here. It's been adventures with firewalls here with the coaches at times, and I thank them for their patience in dealing with all this kind of stuff. When it comes to trying to get folks locked in, okay, so let me try here. Well, that didn't work. That was a good start. Keeps bumping him out and bumping him, and nothing like because I saw Coach Jackson. He was in like a cement room, and so we'll see what happens. We're going to effort Johnny here for the next little bit, and hopefully we can get something done on Blessed Trinity's side of things. And I can't thank him enough for ducking in and freezing and dialing back in because, yeah, there have been times where we've had coaches that have been inside schools, and it has been just sideways. Like freeze, unload, freeze, load back, freeze, unload, freeze, load back. So thanks to all of you for being patient about this kind of stuff this morning and being being a great audience as you always are. So, like I said, we're getting ready to look at the other half of the equation, Blessed Trinity and Marist, and it is the Quad A Championship, 5A. It is a 4A at 5P. Quad A, 5 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, involving Blessed Trinity and Marist Quad A Championship. Blessed Trinity goes through by shutting out Midtown, shutting out Alatoona, shutting out St. Pius, shutting out Lucas Grove. I can't remember the last time Blessed Trinity actually gave up a goal. So let's find out. When was the last time they gave up a goal? They've only given up 6 goals this season. And the last time that they gave up a goal, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, was against Westminster 10 matches ago, March the 20th, when they lose in overtime. And that was 2 of the goals right there. They give up 1 to Cambridge. They lose to Midtown, so they get revenge there from the game on February 24th. And then they began their season at Harrison and losing there. So they haven't lost since the game that set up the revenge game back in February. And they haven't, like I said, they haven't given up a goal since that loss. No, since the win over Westminster was the last time they gave up any goals. And then the last time they lost was Midtown on the 24th of February to let you know what's going on there. So that's what we're looking at. Yeah, so it's a bit of an odd duck. So coach is trying to log in and log out, and let's see. So I'm sorry. As David says, sausage. Are okay. So, and Let's see. Been an absolute pain. And yeah, so like I said, we're catching up with Coach Jackson here, and hopefully, so it was a great thing to look at with Blessed Trinity. And let me go over just so you can kind of get acquainted with them a little bit here when it comes to let's see. So with everything that we've seen from Blessed Trinity this season, it has been, like I said, top 5 in the country, just to kind of let you see what's going on. And where are my Blessed Trinity notes? Hang on. Just to give you an idea, I'm looking at the stats for Blessed Trinity, just to let you know what you've got. It is a lot of different goal scorers. You have the Mellish sisters and the Mellish twins. You've got Juliet forward, who's scored 20, and you have Anna on defense, who is actually registered as well with a goal and an assist this season. And you have, when it comes to all of the different goal scorers, you've got 3 double-digit goal scorers. Julie Mellish at 20 and 15. Reese Jackson, the junior, who is 14 and 16. Amelia Como has scored 13 and 9. But then you add to that 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 19 other goal scorers in addition to the 3 that you have in double digits. 19 different goal scorers outside of that. You have, and I'm going to redo my math here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 19 different goal scorers in addition to the 3 that are double digits for you. Reese Jackson, 14 and 16, and Amelia Como at 13 and 9 to go with Julie Mellish at 20 and 15. So then you have 2, 4, 6, 7 seniors that are on this roster. You have Catherine Flading, Amelia Como. You have Clara Santa Maria, Ainsley Keating, Reagan Michaels, and then Addison. It has been all over the place, but now I'm glad we have this squared away. When you go and watch BT with 8 and 5, it is Addison Wickramasakara. Because I said Wickramasakara, and so I was close, but it's Wickramasakara. So you've got also in seniors, Abigail White, who's got a goal and an assist. And so you've got a lot of seniors that are scoring, but you also get a lot of depth behind it. So you have 22 different goal scorers, 3 of them in double digits. And you have a couple of seniors that are attached to it, 3, 5, 6, 7 seniors. And then you have 2 sophomores who are in net for you that have made 60 saves along the way this season. And so Presley Carter, Maya Mendez, they've allowed 6 on 60 saves. So their save percentage 0.91 on the season as a group. But you've got this next wave and next wave and next wave that's there on 9th and 10th graders to go with the you only have a couple of juniors here. You've got Emmy Nichols and Reese Jackson in the midfield, who are your juniors, to go with the 7 seniors. But you've got a lot of 9th and 10th graders here for Coach Jackson and Blessed Trinity. So very, very cool that you have this coming together with these groups for the game at 5 o'clock on Friday. And just to give you an idea about the schedule that was pieced together for Blessed Trinity, it was 4th in the state of Georgia, 5th nationally right now, 18 and 2. You lose to Harrison to start things off, but that's where you learn about yourself, and that's why you schedule games like this. Denmark, River Ridge, Pius lose to Midtown February 24th. So that was the last loss on the board, was back in February 24th. Cambridge, Centennial, Cambridge again in region play. Fellowship, Westminster, where you win 3-2 in overtime. And like I said, that was the last time this season that Blessed Trinity has given up a goal. It's 2 goals, 3-2 overtime win versus Westminster there at Blessed Trinity. And then back-to-back with Kell, Centennial, at Westminster again, GAC, at Milton, then Locust Grove in region, Pius, Allatoona, and then you're going to Locust Grove in the playoffs, Locust Grove, Pius, Allatoona, Midtown. You have not given up a goal in the postseason. You've scored 21, you've given up nothing. So you have a Marist team that has scored a lot and not given up a whole lot of goals. Then you have Marist, who scored a lot and not given up a whole lot of goals. You have Blessed Trinity, who has scored 88 goals in 20. So 20 into 88 is 4.4. 4.4, and your average goals against on the season is 6 into 20.3. So your goals against is 0.3. Your save percentage is 0.91. And you've scored 4.4 goals a match this season at 18-2 to finish things up. Marist is 19-0. And they come in at, once again, ranked number 3 in the state of Georgia, number 4 nationally. And their ratio of goals to saves, basically, 130 goals scored in 19 matches. 19 into 130 is what? 6? 6 is 114. 7 would be 63, 133. So basically just under 7 goals a match. So 6 2/3. And you've only given up 7 in 19 games. So their save percentage slightly above 0.35. So let's say 0.38. That's what their goals against is. So you've got Curtis Engsberg and BT's Johnny Jackson. They're going at it at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon at Duluth High School. Once again, Justin Hanover and Nick Alifi on the call there on the NFHS network. So apologies to everything going on at Blessed Trinity. And, nothing like having firewalls and things like that prevent you from doing interviews. Not the first time, but when folks when they use phones and things like that, that's traditionally what we end up with when it comes to the issues that are attached. Okay. So, okay. And so since we have Coach McKinnon coming in at 12:30-ish, let me go ahead, since I found those notes, I'm going to go ahead and send them to Coach McKinnon because I know she is not going to be in school. So she said, can I do this on my cell phone? And so I said, absolutely, because we've had that happen in the past. And so sending notes to the head coach at Atkinson County. And so there we go. And that is there. All right. So getting ready for the top of the hour. I wanted to get into what happened in Vancouver yesterday. We had the big meeting where Whitecaps officials met with the province, local Indigenous leaders. It was 3 separate First Nations, federal government, top official for Major League Soccer, and Victor Montaliani was supposed to be there as well. No word on whether or not he was. So from Patrick Johnston at the province, listed as very positive, according to Wayne Sparrow, longtime chief of the Musqueam Nation, who was at the meeting. In a phoner with Patrick Johnston at the province, very positive. Everyone committed to finding a solution. Short on details, indicated discussions looked at both short and long-term solutions, including the current relationship with BC Place. A statement is supposed to be released today. According to Daily Hive's Harja Hall, Axel Schuster, Jeff Mallett, Ravi Kalan, Minister of Jobs and Economic Growth in the province, Gregor Robertson, former mayor of Vancouver, now federal minister of Housing and Infrastructure, MLS Executive Vice President Charles Altchek, whom we know from his time at MLS Next Pro, and he has worked his way into exec VP status at MLS, and then representatives from Tsleil-Waututh and Squamish nations. Altchek met with BC Premier David Eby on Tuesday, as well, 2 weeks after a pair of meetings with Don Garber and Eby. Understood the Whitecaps would like to take on management of BC Place, since the club believes it can help Pavco, the Crown Corporation, which runs the stadium, find greater efficiencies in how the stadium is run and expand the value of sponsorship deals tied to the team and presumably the stadium. Involvement of Indigenous groups, according to Johnston, is interesting, as a source confirmed there have been past expressions of interest from at least Musqueam in buying a stake in the team. There have also been several recent meetings between the team and reps of the three nations. Musqueam isn't the only group inquiring about investing or buying the team outright. Schuster's told the media 30 is the number Patrick Johnston's using. We have seen the quotes from Schuster of 100, buying at least a stake in the team, backing away after taking a look at finances. Source suggested recently, Whitecaps believe finding stability at BC Place over the next 5 to 10 years would win the club time to properly develop their own stadium. And when they have such a plan in place, investors would return to the table. If a deal is struck for the Caps to stay at BC Place, ends talk of relo 2 weeks ago, once again before the FIFA Congress. Word had leaked out that MLS owners had discussed the reality that the Whitecaps might have to move. Then the Las Vegas newspapers revealing at least one suitor, and that goes back to the Gustafson family that we talked about, where they want to buy them, they want to move into Vegas, they want to build their own barn, but it is not the barn that we're talking about that is the $50 billion, 50,000-seat, multi-billion-dollar facility that was being discussed. Separate discussion. Gustafson family wants to come to Vegas, build their own stadium, probably play at Allegiant in the short term because I don't think you're going to play at Cashman. Several sources to Johnston doubt they were truly in a position to move the team to Vegas as soon as next season. League expenses have increased dramatically. Whitecaps revenues have remained relatively flat. Team is now top 5 in salaries from their past trend of being mid-table at best in player expenditures. Greater Vancouver Board of Trade revealed hundreds of local businesses signed on to an open letter committing themselves to helping the Whitecaps find ways to bridge the revenue gap. Schuster has indicated that it is as large as $40 million Canadian. Bridget Anderson, in a statement, president and CEO of the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade, quote, the overwhelming response we've seen in just a few days shows private sector is ready to be a constructive partner, discuss how we can step up to ensure we're protecting a vital economic engine that fuels our downtown core. So that is the story out of Vancouver, Patrick Johnston of the province, and the meetings that happened yesterday. So that is the rundown of what happened in Vancouver. And then we mentioned what happened in the NCAA. We mentioned what happened with Botafogo. You've got the injury in Nashville to Andy Nahar, and he had been dinged up in a previous match, and now you have the injury once again. He was removed from play, and so we will find out what the latest is involving Andy Nahar. Will he be in the lineup this weekend for Nashville? We don't know, but we'll certainly find out what the heck is going on with them there. So that is the latest out of what is going on in Major League Soccer. And so that is the rundown there. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that is going on. Oh, okay. We got to get this in really quickly. From our friends at TalkSport, Hull are preparing for the possibility of the championship playoff final being moved to a later date because of Spygate, according to TalkSport. Independent commission reviewing evidence Hull's opponent Southampton sent intern Will Salt to secretly film a Middlesbrough training session ahead of the semifinals. If the commission decides Saints are guilty, they could be subject to sporting sanctions, including being thrown out of the Wembley final. This we know. Last time we had something like this happen, it was a big fine from Leeds United. Marcelo Bielsa had his rather large press conference and his big PowerPoint presentation when everybody thought he was going to resign. So then you end up with a protracted legal challenge, so you could have the final delayed, which is scheduled for the 23rd. Middlesbrough players return to training ground, expected to continue training in anticipation of being reinstated. Owner Steve Gibson is consulting with lawyer Nick DeMarco over the Teesside club's next course of action. EFL obviously refused to comment. Hull is in after beating Millwall in their 2 legs, and so Hull City is waiting. Saints have been charged by the EFL for breaching their regulations after Salt was spotted filming Burrow's training session ahead of the first leg of the semifinal between the 2 clubs. Middlesbrough believe they aren't the only team Saints have spied on this year either, keeping their players in training. Southampton yet to release any ticket info on the playoff final amid the possibility of sanctions, which could include being kicked out of the playoffs, points deduction, and for the next time that they are in England's second tier. Again, goalless first leg, won the tie 2-1, and also there was more controversy. Taylor Harwood-Bellis alleged to have said something offensive toward Luke Ayling during the match. Calls for the Saints to be kicked out of the playoffs. And so we'll see. But honestly, I think what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a fine, and then you're going to have some folks who are going to sit there and go, well, that was not enough. We need to have more. So we'll find out what the latest is, and we'll keep an eye on what is going on involving anything and everything with the EFL Championship final, where we're waiting for that. Now, it is time. At least I thought it was. There you go. It is time, because we are in hour number 2, and it's time to go and check in with our resident master chef. Are you a chef if you do desserts? I guess we'll find out with our buddy Nino Torres. Sir, as we bring you in here, I ask you. I ask you, sir. I got you. I hear you fine. I hear you well. You are great. I hear you fine. And I have a question for you that when you have your audio from Lima, Peru, I do have your question. I have one question for you, sir. I have a question for you, sir, as our resident master chef. First off, yellow. How are you on a Thursday?
Yellow. Soccer Down here, fans. Nino Torres with you. Fully loaded today with massive stories. This is so excited to be here today, guys.
So, are you officially a master chef if you do desserts, or how is that? What's the proper terminology?
I don't know. I didn't go to culinary school, that's for sure. But I got like probably a few thousand hours in a professional kitchen on my back. So that I think I'm not saying that I don't need a title. You always gotta improve yourselves. And matter of fact, I'm looking into getting to the culinary school, but just for pastries. Specifically for pastries, and see how can I improve my technique. My shma? We'll see.
Yeah, sure. Okay, improve your technique. I have here in my hand. Your topics, and topic number 1 has kind of like a double topic, really, because you say Benfica's derail at the end of the season, but it may also include the dude who's in charge going back to a place where he was. So it's almost like a double derail. What's going on with Benfica?
Yeah. I heard that. And I also read what Mr. Iker Casillas said about that. We'll get into that. But before that, we go into Benfica's situation. They were in second place, solid, because of the catastrophe of Sporting late into the season. The two teams from Lisbon, they got the horrendous final rush in the season. The dropping points here, dropping losses here, and there it was just crazy. But the thing is, it was in charge of their own destiny to get into the Champions League. All they gotta do is win. That's it. They're not going anything else, and they drop points back to back. 4 points, and now they're behind Sporting. And Sporting is not gonna lose in the last game of the season. Benfica. I feel bad for you. Come on, leapfrog, man. I'll give you my Champions League spot for it's Christmas in July or Christmas in May. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do it, especially now that Sporting, after losing their chances to win the title, after losing the chances to catch Porto, they finally start playing ball again. And they're scoring 4 goals here, 3 goals there. Okay, the offense is alive again. And I don't know, Johnny, what happened with Benfica in the last couple of games, and especially playing against lower tier teams. They're not playing classy as well. They play the Braga, the last derby of the season, the last classic of the season. But this is a team that is not.
They're not motivated when they play teams that they think they can beat.
I don't know, but I don't know what it is. But they're not able to sustain leads. That's what happens. They just lead for 65, 75 minutes, and the last 15 minutes, Benfica concedes. In 75% of the game this season, 5%, Benfica has conceded in the last 15 minutes of the show. 75% of the times. And it's not like we're not talking about we'll lose motivation because of this game or that. It's all season long. So there's something that if Mr. Mourinho stays, they have to work on, because the White House is calling. The White House is calling. And Mr. Casillas said that Jose Mourinho was not qualified enough to coach Real Madrid. That's my club. Buddy, he already coached your club. Just like he already did. He already been there. All right. It's not like it's a new. No. He's not a new valet who's, I'm sorry, I don't know how to drive this Porsche. No. I know. I've stepped into these Bentleys and in Lamborghinis and everything. So I can do this. All right. So this is the thing, Johnny. Who is gonna go to that madhouse? Because it's a madhouse what Real Madrid is right now. I mean, by the way, there's a topic.
Yeah, down the list. Down the list. Yeah, go ahead. We'll mix that one in after this.
I'm not gonna get into that, but I don't know if this is the stage of the career of Mourinho. What happening? Because he hasn't won anything in like forever. When was the last time he won? Jesus, man! I think the last time he won was the United's Europa League. All right, United's Europa League. He won with Roma too, right? Did he win? Yeah, he won. Yeah, he won a couple of Euros of Europa Leagues. So what was that? 2017? It's been like 7 years, something like that. I'll give it to Mourinho. If you ask me if Real Madrid calls, he'll go. I think that's my really humble opinion. But I think he probably could manage that madhouse. We'll never know because
I think the last one he won was Roma's Conference League in 21-22. That was the last one that he won.
Oh, there you go. See, not that long ago. I thought it was 4 years ago. Not bad.
Yeah,
it's a European title. So hey,
exactly. So along those lines, since we're discussing Real Madrid, I'm going to skip ahead to topic number 3, where you say Real Madrid high school drama ruined their legacy.
This is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous what these kids are doing. These frat boys, I can't stand them, man. I can't stand these whiny rich kids. I just can't stand them. Any of them, man. Any of them. Vini number 1 on the list. Mbappe number 2 on the list. I mean, you take those two guys out, and Real Madrid will win the World Cup. I was going to say the Champions.
And they won the World Cup too.
Yeah, they probably will too. Without these two guys. So it's a different story. The Galacticos, right? Because the thing with the Galacticos, they were really distracted by way too much attention, traveling all over the world, going to China. I mean, David Beckham was there, and it was crazy. It was crazy. But the distraction is coming from inside, not from the outside. That's a different story. When your core players are divided, by the way, I just saw that video footage, like the Vini's gang and the Mbappe's gang. Two gangs trying to, dominate the territory. And when you're not focused on one common goal, it's not working. It's just not going to work, and it hasn't been working. They fire at the tremendous coach like Xabi Alonso, because they don't want to listen to him, because we're better than you, because this and that, because I'm going to concern about. I'm not going to say that about Vini, because I'm getting in trouble here. But
bite your tongue.
Yeah, it's just gonna bite my tongue out. But I just how I mean, I understand this, right? Yes, I am a superstar. I am at the best club in the planet. Uh, don't you want to win more? Don't you want to chase glory? Is that
I
me
mean,
being just
I mean,
being crazy or what?
I'm
Johnny,
saying,
how about you? Let's put it this way: you and I,
Mhm.
right? You're 10 years for Real Madrid, and we're number 7, and we won everything with our clubs, and we are now Real Madrid. Let's get together, brother, and win some more. Let's get it
dial it up,
together.
dial it up, man. Let's lock it down. But
It's,
no,
it's
not
no,
interested.
no. You wanna, no, you want it. So
I'm
you don't
good.
want me to send me my cakes, right? You just fine. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you've won every place you've been. Your buddies want to sit there and they want to. It's like, yeah, come here and be a part of something big. The idea is to win more, but no, it's there's going to be, and I don't know when, and I don't know how, but I can guarantee you that there's always going to be that one moment. Remember when we were like a lot younger? And you thought you were invincible. You thought you were impenetrable. You thought that you were the king of the world. You thought that nothing was. You were bulletproof, man. You were
I know.
130% bulletproof. There's going to be that moment, and we all have it. I don't know where it's coming from, but you're not going to hear
But
the noise.
it will come.
You're not going to
It
hear
will
that
come.
noise until it is on top of you. You're not going to hear that fighter plane coming overhead until the noise gets as high as pitch as possible. There's always going to be that moment. And if you're not ready for that moment, and I'm not talking a good moment, I'm talking about that moment when you are reminded that you are mortal.
Yeah.
That I don't know when it's going to happen, but I mean, if this keeps up, I don't know if young phenoms are going to be ready for that moment when that whistle coming by that ear is really high pitched. I don't know if they're going to be ready for it, man. I don't.
No, I don't think so. And what happens is, what will happen is that Florentino is gonna open that wallet. He's gonna open that wallet. And he's gonna go fish and look. This is a shinier fish. This is a bigger fish. You know. Oh, you got a 50-pound tuna. Guess what? I'm gonna get him a 75-pound tuna to replace you, because that's it. Players are commodities.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something, nobody's irreplaceable. And in soccer, every of them are replaceable. They're a surprise for everybody. And then Florentino has the checks to sign for and get another ones if this one don't work.
Mm-hmm. And then you get press conferences from Florentino Perez where he just goes off the rails for an hour and 15 minutes. It's a great watch, but it doesn't make any sense by the end of the day. So you got that to hang on to your hat too. Now that we have skipped topic number 2, I'm going to go back to topic number 2 because we kind of blended 1 and 3 together because we went from one to the other.
Yeah.
New Universitario coach tonight. Break this down for me, sir.
So this is huge, Johnny. This is huge for Peruvian soccer because this is probably the coach with the biggest resume ever that landed here in Peru. The biggest one. I know he hasn't been coaching lately any big clubs or anything, but we're talking about Hector Cooper, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Hector Cooper, one with Coach Ronaldo. I mean, not the real Ronaldo. No, he went to with Valencia to 2 Champions League finals. He coached Egypt. He is probably the most impressive. He has the most impressive resume to ever touch the ground here in the Liga Uno in Peru. So he's gonna be introduced tonight at a press conference in a hotel here in Peru. And his era is going to start tomorrow morning. Right, tomorrow morning. I can totally picture Hector Cooper going to training camp tomorrow at 8 o'clock sharp. Because that's what he is, and that's exactly what this team needs. And they need a general. They need a guy who can lead. They need a guy who cannot. He doesn't hesitate to take decisions, to make hard decisions, because there are hard decisions to make here in Universitario. There's a core players that they're the prime is long gone, and nobody wants to accept that. And I think Hector Cooper is in the right state of mind to take these decisions that they need to be take a long time ago. But we'll see. I'm excited, Johnny, because we were going with Universitario because we fired the coach, and then we got the interim coach who won a couple of games, but then he shown that he's just an interim coach. He shown signs that the interim coach only show you because they're not prepared for the long term job. They're not ready for this because this is a team. This is too big of a club to make this kind of rookie mistakes. And now we're in Copa Libertadores in a situation where we have to win the next two games at Nacional in Montevideo, with Deportes Tolima here in Lima to close the group stage. Hopefully with a spot. I don't care if it's in the Libertadores or Sudamericana, one of the two. I'm happy with it, but it's got to be back-to-back wins, and I don't know how much of a blueprint Cooper can put in the team for the upcoming games because they're around the corner. And we'll see how it goes. But Johnny, this is the best coach that we ever had in the Liga Uno. There's no doubt about that, man.
After match week number 4, you bring in Cabezon and your big head. None like having a coach with a nickname Big Head. Cabezon, big head. So here's the resume for those that may not know.
Yeah, listen to this. Listen.
This goes back 33 years.
Yep.
Huracan, Lanús,
Yep.
Mallorca, Valencia, Inter Milan, Mallorca round 2, Real Betis, Parma, Georgia national team, not the state or anything like that, but the national team for nation of Georgia, Aris, Racing Santander, Orduspor in Turkey, Al Wasl, Egypt national, Uzbek national, DR Congo, Syria, and he's after Syria, now he's at Universitario. Man, this is a dude who has traveled in 33 years as a head coach.
And the people were worrying about him. Hey, man, there's the geography here because there's our country, Johnny. It's just so diverse. We got the altitude, we got the Amazon, we got the coast, we got the desert, we got the everything, every single weather scenario that you can face or ground that you can face, we have it here. And I don't think that there's any other country that has this diversity of cities that you go to play. And the guy played coach Congo, brother. The guy played coach Syria, Georgia, Egypt. You kidding me? He's ready for this challenge. He's ready. So because that's a concern for people. I mean, not just coaches, but players that come here. All right, what are you playing next? Oh, we're playing 15,000 feet above the sea level next week. Oh, okay. And then we go in the next week, we go into the North Shore. There's going to be 102, 105 degrees. And we're going to play at around 1 p.m. because that's by the time they want us to play. And then we go to the Amazon. It's crazy. It is crazy. It's challenging. But I think the Cooper is ready for this, man.
Looking at Libertadores right now, standings, Group A, we're still waiting to figure out what the end result's going to be with Flamengo and Independiente Medellin. And right now, with that game in the balance after match week 4 or 3.5, really, Flamengo's on top. They haven't lost yet. Estudiantes is number 2. Independiente Medellin is at number 3. Cusco has 1 point in 4 matches. Your group, Group B, Deportes Tolima and Coquimbo, each with 7 points. You are at 4, but you've got a better goal difference than Nacional, but you've lost 2 of 3, and now I understand why you brought in Cabezon. You mentioned in the past Rivadavia, Independiente Rivadavia.
Yeah.
They're 3 wins and a draw. They haven't lost yet. 10 points, well ahead of the group. They should qualify if Bolivar wins their next 2. That's 11. So they should make it into the next round either as Group C number 1 or number 2. Bolivar number 3. La Guaira and Fluminense, which is a shocker to me. A big name like that is 0-2-2 in their first 4. Católica, Cruzeiro, Boca Juniors. Group D is a mess. That's going to continue to be that way. Corinthians, Platense, they should be out of Group E. Santa Fe and Peñarol, they're going to fight amongst each other. Group F, Palmeiras, Cerro Porteño, Sporting Cristal, that group's a mess. Junior. Group G, Mirasol, Lanús, and Liga de Quito. That one's going to be good all the way through. That's a shame that Always Ready hasn't been ready. I mean, they won last time out in Group G. And then in Group H, Rosario Central, Independiente del Valle, Universidad Central. They should be in some combination, but Libertad Asunción is a goose egg in their first 4. They've given up 8 and they've only scored 3. So that is your quick Libertadores update for the next matches coming up around the corner, and that is going to be in 5 days. So next time we
we'll have Wednesday. We play Nacional in a Gran Parque Central Wednesday the 20th,
and so that's a 6:00 kick. And right now, you're a plus 290 dog in the juice boxes heading to Nacional, who is a minus 111 on the board. Okay, other stuff here that I have. See, we went sideways. We went Libertadores. I hadn't talked about Libertadores enough. Super Bowl ads step aside. World Cup cinema ads are here. Yeah, when Billy Bob Thornton wants his beer, you better get the man his beer.
It's just great, man. It is just the best season ever, man. And I'm so glad that we have those ads back because it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I want to say a good 20 years or so since we didn't have these movie shorts. Basically, that's what they are. They're shorts. It's just not like an ad. It's not 30 seconds. It's like a 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes long. And it is just the production is great, and I'm so happy that we are, bringing that back because it's the true spirit of the sport that makes you feel like a kid again. And I'm so glad that we've seen all those has. There are more coming, of course. There are more coming. I'm pretty sure because we're 50 days away, 55 days away. Johnny, how many days is 55?
Dude, we're like we're like 30, man.
Yeah, shit, what are you talking about 50 days, man? It's in June.
We're in May, brother. We got like 30
May.
days back.
Man, what am I thinking of 50 days? It's May. It's June 11. We're May 14, like 27 days away.
27, 28 days, brother. We're under 30,
Jesus, man.
I know.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
I'm still trying to figure out why Memo was in the commercial for the beer. Because if it was for his tequila, I would have understood it. He wasn't fighting for his tequila. He was fighting for somebody else's beer. That was what shook me. It's like, why are you in a Michelob ad when you're not talking about your tequila? That was what.
You know what? There's another one about the 3 kids. You've seen the one with 3 kids that are undefeated since 1996?
No, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that one. You gotta watch that one. You gotta watch that one. It's just great, man. I think it's Adidas. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So don't tell me about it. I'll go find it. Last one. It is World Cup Chronicles with you. And we go back to 1934 for this one. What happened here?
So, the host was Italy, right? Host of World Cup was Italy. And the guy who was ruling the country back then, it was a friendly guy. You heard of him? I mean, this guy, Benito Mussolini.
He's a real friendly dude. Yeah, exactly.
He was. Yeah, he was kind. He was kind, and it was a chubby.
He was not a gentleman who was in
chubby guy. Anyway,
physical
so this thing happened right with this guy, right? Usually, this when the World Cups were organized by dictators. And the thing with dictators is like they love the game so much. They just love the game so much. They're true fans. Well, actually delusional fans. But anyway, so they always use their power. They always use their power to get into the games. Get the best seats in the house. To get into the locker rooms. But at this time, Mussolini was looking like his team wasn't doing that great, right? He wasn't doing that great, so he just decided to send a message, right? To send a message and a friendly message.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It was short because remember telegraphs were like right.
Mm-hmm.
So Vittorio Pozzo, the head coach, he the only one by the way, won 2 World Cups back to back. He's the only one. Nobody else has done that. Take that note, please. So he got the telegraph, and he's like, "All right, I want to show this to the guys." He went into the locker room in Milan, and guys, we got a message from Mussolini. Everybody, listen up.
Oh.
Win or die.
Yeah.
You win or you'll die. Get the message, guys? Yeah, we did.
That's neighborly.
So that was a telegraph. Either you win or you'll die.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Some by Benito Mussolini. So it was crazy because in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, they were trailing at halftime. Trailing. Turning the games around, winning, and then winning big against Czechoslovakia in the finals. So, but it was intense. It was like, all right, guys, we're losing. Mm-hmm. We might lose our lives if we don't win this game. Okay, so you better step up in your game and win this one for us, for the country, for our lives.
Yeah, no pressure, nothing. Yeah, it was in the quarters. What they used to do, instead of doing like another overtime and then penalty kicks, they'd replay it. And so they drew Spain in the quarters, so they replayed it. And then it was the next day, basically. It's like, we're going to come back here tomorrow, and then we're going to play it again. They played it again, and then they won 1-0 in the replay. And then they go into the semis, and then they won 1-0 again. And then they go into the final, and then they played added time. I mean, they played added time in the quarters. They didn't do a penalty kick shootout to finish, but they went back and replayed it after 120. Then they won the replay. Then 2 days later, they went in the semi, and then after getting a week's rest, they go into added time, and then they beat Czechoslovakia in the final. They were down. Scored in the 71st minute, Czechoslovakia. So with 20 to go, they were down a goal. They scored with 10 to go to tie it. Then they scored 5 minutes into added extra in the extra 30 for the win. So by all indications, we believe that they all did in fact survive the final in 1934. So that is that is the good thing. All right. So what is the latest with you? How busy are you this weekend? It's the last week of the regular season, right?
Yeah, we got back-to-back games, and on that Saturday we got an early bird. It's what time is it in here? It's 9:30, so 10:30 on the East Coast, Porto Santa Clara, and then we go with the season finale, Sporting versus Gil Vicente, 3:30 Eastern time on FuboTV, brother.
And that is as always where we should embrace everything that is all that of Portugal and hear the dulcet tones of our friend Nino Torres when it comes to anything and everything going on with Portugal. What's going on after the Portuguese season comes to an end? Do you get to focus on bacon or what? Please tell me that you got other stuff going on. We got to get you ready for the World Cup too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's uncertain in the future. It's uncertain. So
it better be certain if they know what's good. If they know what's good for them, you understand what I'm saying? If they know what's good for them, they need to keep you rocking and rolling. But no, it's been fantastic to get you back there at Fubo calling games in Portugal, because I know that we've been talking about them, and then there was the gap space, and now that you're back with Fubo and you're crushing it, being where you should be, sir, behind a microphone, discussing the back and forth and the ebbs and flows and all of the pluses and the minuses. It's been great to have you there at Fubo talking Liga de Portugal and always educating us on everything that's going on. What's the latest with the baking, sir? How many bakeries do we have now?
Oh, brother, we got something special this weekend. I got the first order, my first order for pets. I gotta bake a cake for a doggy this weekend. So I gotta, can you make it a cake for my doggy? Because we love your cakes. I'm like, yeah, I can make it. I mean, I never say no, but it's gonna be the first one. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good, because I gotta buy different ingredients for that, because the doggies are not like us. They're not ugly.
Their stomachs, they want to have people's stomachs, but they really don't have people's stomachs, and you got to keep an eye. But yeah, let us know about that, because that might be something else you'd have to throw into the plane that comes to Orlando, Florida, when we figure that one out. As always, my friend, it's great to see you. We love you very much, and do not be a stranger. We'll catch up with you again the same time next week. We'll break it all down again, as we're under 30 days before this cup that the world is chasing, sir.
All right, thank you, Johnny. We'll see you next week.
You got it. We will see you soon. And I got to find out how this doggy cake wraps up. I got to find out how that goes. So as always, it makes a cake for dogs. Trust me. No, we have, full disclosure, for the Rowdy Man. We've got there are restaurants. There are like dog stores or pet stores where they have like cookies that they make for dogs. They're kind of like peanut butter offshoots. They have cakes and cupcakes that they make for dogs. The frosting and everything is all safe. And then there's ice cream. And one of the funniest things that we've seen with dogs is when they get brain freeze from having the ice cream. It's like they like the taste of it, but it's a little too cold. And then it's like, and when humans get that brain freeze moment too, and they sit there and they go, okay, this was a bad idea. And when a human brain locks up, to see a dog's brain lock up over the fact that, yeah, this was great, but it was a little too cold, and they just kind of sit there and they cock their head. It's like, what in the blue hell is happening here? And then after about 3 seconds, then they realize, oh, okay, that's what it was. It was the ice cream. So sometimes we have to put the ice cream in the microwave just to kind of loosen it up a little bit. And so that way it's still doggy ice cream, except it's not as frozen and the dog doesn't freak out as much. So yeah, doggy desserts, man. Cakes, cupcakes, ice cream, the cookies with frosting, the whole thing. I mean, there is an industry that is attached to that, and we've gotten the Rowdy Man his share of them. So when someone comes up to you, I mean, this could be a door. This could be a door that Nino kicks in. Nino, I don't want to say pet baker, because it sounds like he's putting pets in ovens. I got to figure out a way to say that Nino is baking stuff for pets. He is because you can't put an adjective in front of baker, because it sounds like he's cooking the animal. You can't say animal baker. You can't say doggy baker. You can't say, baker of dog goods, you could say, but that gets a little clunky. So we got to figure this out. We got to workshop this. So, because you can't say Nino the doggy baker. That's bad. You can't say Nino the doggy baker. That doesn't fly. So we got to figure this out. We got to figure out the proper title for something like this. We got to figure this out. So we'll put that in the thinking cap and figure out, okay, how do we phrase that Nino is baking goods for dogs? It has to be phrased properly. The modifiers have to be in the right places, because you can't say Nino the doggy baker. You can't do that. You can't say Nino the cat baker, Nino the dog baker. You can't do that. So I was making a cake for a Chihuahua, so I'm a Chihuahua baker. No, you're not a Chihuahua baker. You're not. No, this is where grammar is important. Grammar is important in these situations. You bake things for dogs. You bake things for pets. That's how it has to be phrased. And if it has to be clunky so it doesn't sound like you're the guy that sits there and just, puts things in the Amana that are furry, you can't do that. Anyway, like I said, it's all in the semantics of the language, and that's what we love here since Mother's an English major. All right, it is time for the final half hour here on a Thursday. We go from Lima, Peru to the Palouse. From Peru to the Palouse. Sounds like a police investigative drama. For this, we go to Seattle because we had like 93 goals yesterday or something like that, some ungodly number. We catch up with our buddy Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart. Sir, look at you flipping the monitor and everything. The remote's working and all of that kind of stuff. First off, as always, welcome on a Thursday, because we got a lot of ish to talk about, and there was a lot of ish that happened last night in Major League Soccer, man.
What's going on, John? SDH family. A little tired. It was a long night, but I'm happy to be here. You're right, man. 58 goals record in a single match day for MLS. There was just about everything you can think of in terms of fun goals, interesting back and forth games, some upsets, some, I don't know, free fall watch. I mean, there was a lot happening yesterday in MLS, but hey, happy to be on. I got to be at the game, of course, got to see Bruce crash out about the frustrating officiating. Man, it was a good game here in Seattle, and it was a good day of MLS soccer.
All right, so let's break it all down. Let's start there. It was 1-0 San Jose. Then it wasn't, because of a Rusnak PK, if memory serves, and he went down the middle with it, which was somewhat unexpected when a keeper dives to one side and Rusnak went down the middle. Goes from 1-0 to 1-1, finishes up on the flip side of the margin. What are some of your takeaways from that match last night?
Yeah, it was a
We are just having issues this morning. It is like people freezing up and everything. And I'm guessing Nico is going to change his server. He's going to switch over from Wi-Fi or from wireless to Wi-Fi, and we'll break it all down there. Unless someone tried to call him, and we'll run from there. Let's see. Busy Wednesday, leading into busier weekend. Man, it has just been one of those days. All in one place at SDH, YouTube, X, Twitch, and social media channels. Everything was fine, and then it wasn't. Let's see. There we go. All right. So when we are efforting, I don't know if batteries died. I don't know if you went from Wi-Fi to change it over. It has been one of those days. It's like Thursday turned into Monday. Thursday turned into Monday. And it's like it is absolutely nuts. So yeah, it's one. Did someone try to call or what? What was going on?
No, I got to figure out what's going on with our studio thing here, because I don't know if it's my internet, but it feels like I always have to like get in and get out at least once before this thing works correctly. So I might have to do some troubleshooting. But yes, we were going to start talking about last night here at Lumen Field.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I'm still feeling slag. Yes, it was a very Bruce versus Brian Smetzer type of game. I thought that the first half was a little bit of a chess match, assessing each other. I think that Seattle was, without a doubt, not playing up to their standard, not quite in sync. The first to score is San Jose, which is not what you want, because that seems to be their bread and butter. They did it to Vancouver just the match before. They score within the first 5 minutes, and then they do a great job at just holding on and being able to absorb pressure and not get scored on. So in the second half, I thought that Brian Smetzer did some good adjustments. I thought that, yes, there was a lot to do with maybe that DK call. I think that's what had Bruce really upset. Was it harsh for that handball? Perhaps. In the broadcast after I came back, there seemed to be a push. I didn't see a push from the press box, and they were saying maybe that's why his arm was out there, but it is what it is. Albert Rusnak puts it, and the Sounders they start to play the way the Sounders play and connect a lot more and be able to get forward. Ratanu had a very good game. I mean, he puts the ball into KKR to get that first PK. Then he puts that ball for us outside of Rosario in that third goal. So I think that Seattle was just able to, in that second half, get the width that they wanted, get the positioning that they wanted inside the 18. It's all about Jesus Ferreira. What a phenomenal goal. He goes coast to coast, close to 80 yards. The double move inside the 18 to get space, and then a phenomenal finish. So to all of you Jesus Ferreira haters that thought that he was not going to work out here in Seattle, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Because the boy can ball. And he put that goal was phenomenal. One of the best of his career. And I really do think that set the tempo for the rest of the second half. That was the second goal of the night. And I really feel that propelled this Sounders to kind of finish strong. It is a 3-2 win. So Brian Smetzer was not extremely happy with everything. That second goal, in my opinion, it is a very good move by Preston Judd that is doing his best version of, I don't know, Ronaldo or
Wow.
I mean, he's just been so good. I mean, the type of goals he's scoring this season, it's just very interesting, and I think that Bruce has a lot to do with that. So yeah, very good game. At the end, a bit of a drama between Bruce Arena and the referee, who ends up giving a red card to one of his assistants, and Bruce was not trying to say much, and I think he was trying to hold himself back. And he just said that he thought that the refereeing could have been a lot better, that crew could have done better, but that he was never given an explanation of why they red carded his assistant, and that he didn't even see the yellow card he got.
Wow.
So Bruce Arena not happy. They get the first loss on the road of 2026. But the Sounders, they do right by their fans, and they get a big win.
All right. We'll stay out west. We'll go west to east. We'll work it this way. Jarrett was in Rio Tinto last night for RSL in Houston. San Diego FC put 5 on Austin, and LASC puts a clunker on in St. Louis. LAG had a clunker in Kansas City. Vancouver had a shootout in Dallas. Seb Berhalter gets a brace, and they come from behind to get a win. Okay, where would you like to start now?
Let's start with that RSL game against Houston, just because I think RSL is a team that is on the rise, that was coming in from a bad game, but that I think can really shake things up in the West, especially with some of these score lines kind of happening, right? LAFC dropping points and all of these things. So RSL doing their work. I really liked the game. I thought Guzzo was sensational. Houston continues to be a team that's exciting, fun to watch, but you can't exchange in the middle of the ring with everybody and expect to win. In this one, they didn't even get a good offensive output. But again, RSL is a team to watch. LAG just continues to be a coin flip. And most of those times you get tails, meaning that the team doesn't quite perform. So it was a good Sporting Kansas City game. I did like to see Joveljic score on LA Galaxy, although I know that the Galaxy didn't let him go because they wanted to, but because they had to. So he doesn't celebrate. But both of these score lines, and I'll talk about this one specifically, and then we'll talk about San Diego. But this is MLS. This is why, look, I understand that the Sounders had a dud at Sporting Kansas City, but this is what happens sometimes. A team is playing well. I think Manu Garcia had a very good game. I thought the Jovic had a really good game. They really put it on the LA Galaxy. So that draw maybe doesn't look as bad today as it did that time. And then San Diego. I mean, we both know, John, SDH family, that San Diego team had been underperforming for at least their offensive output and offensive power. And boy, did they put it on. Boy, did they put it on Austin. They had goals from all shapes, ways, and form inside the 18, at a mid-range, just very well-constructed goals. But I think a lot of this has to do as well with how inconsistent Austin is. And I think fans should be worried. And I hope that Nico Steves is worried, and he understands that floor needs to be a lot higher in order to be relevant in the West. Because if you're giving up 5 goals like this, you're not going to be able to get a playoff spot in the West. No,
and you're outshot 24-9, by the way. And
insane.
Yeah, 24 shots, 5 of them end up in the back of the net. And the stats in this one, David Vasquez obviously gets a brace. Possession, you figure you're up. It's not really going to matter. 24 shots to 9, 11 on target, 3 compared to 3. You end up with, 25% more total passes, accuracy passing at 93%. XG at 2.3 compared to 1.1. I mean, for Austin to lose 5-0 and for Brad Stuver to still make 6 saves on the night, you're getting that 16 fouls called in total. But this should be, how you and I traditionally will have red light, yellow light, green light. This whole match should be a red light for anyone who is attached to the Verde, and go, okay, something ain't right here. And, one is something to look at. 2 is a trend. And the last thing you want to have is 2 or more of these kinds of events going into the World Cup break. So you're going to have to smash this right now if you're Austin FC.
Absolutely. And you got to ask more of Osuni. Jaden Nelson hasn't quite had the mark that I thought he would this season. Facundo Torres, and I've said this multiple times, he's a very good player. He's just not a player that's going to put the team on his shoulders and do it all for you. He's not going to take over a game all by himself. Very good, magical, can do wonders, but he's just not that guy. So when I look at this roster and I see Rosales having to play out wide and trying to be a playmaker, another very good player. I'd take him on my team anytime. But do you want that to be one of your key components? I do not. So that is a structure build team that doesn't quite have it, and it's missing some pieces. And although I do like some players, there is gonna be a need for this team to get figured out. And sure, you got, hopefully Brandon Vasquez can come back to life and do something for you, but it all seems like very far-fetched possibilities unless this team gets some real help. But let me ask you something, John. I'm gonna flip the script on you.
Bring it.
Is LAFC the only team ever in MLS history that has a after CONCACAF Champions League hangover? Because I see people just dogging on Marc Dos Santos and completely ignoring the phenomenal start of the season. And look, I know that LAFC has high standards, and I'm not saying that everything's perfect. And the loss against St. Louis is bad, and the one before that was even worse. But you have to take in consideration that just about every team that I know that has played CCC this far into the season has had a hangover and difficulties getting out of it. And I'm not saying that LAFC is going to miss the playoffs like the Sounders did at one point, because when they won 2022, or that they're going to just be on a free fall for the longest time. But I tell people to just calm down. It is not over just yet. Let this man try to get this team off this funk. But I just want to highlight that it is normal for an MLS team to be exhausted and to be impacted by having to deal with CCC in the beginning or the first part of their season.
Mm-hmm. Denny Bwanga, if I remember correctly, sat out. He wasn't even in the 18. And you're looking for, I mean, you're trying to navigate a World Cup with the players that are going to get calls. You're coming out of the Triple C. You're coming into this little section of MLS Cup and or Open Cup if you're attached to that. Then you're heading into the World Cup. John Thorrington wants to be Batman on top of the big observation deck at BMO. It's like, look, it's just but no, I mean, fans, are never wired that way. But I think that, if you look at LAFC for a second, when they come back from the World Cup, I would imagine that it might take another couple of matches for them to get the engine turned over because you're coming out of the World Cup. But then I think you'll be fine for the duration. And I think what you may be seeing these days in Major League Soccer with these teams that have multiple responsibilities, they want to come out and they want to get the sprint going. They want to rack up a lot of points. They want to get a lot of wins out of the blocks, so they got a lot of points, and that margin for error for weeks like this where you've got schedule compression and you're heading into other competitions and you're having to juggle these kinds of things. So I would ask folks going forward, your favorite team is really good. They're dealing with a lot of stuff on the field, different competitions, what have you. Check and see what their sprint is at the beginning of the year. Do they rack up a lot of points, and then do they kind of dial it back a little bit? Do they go back into second gear and navigate traffic? Are they okay going up the hill on the two-lane freeway, going up and taking a look at the Boeing plant as you're trying to make that big bank into downtown Seattle? Are you okay in the right-hand lane? Yeah, because you're going to have some nutcases in the left-hand lane that think that they've got to get to their business meeting before you do. It's okay to be in the right-hand lane a couple of times during the season. You're still going to get to your destination. You're still going to get there, but you rack up stuff at the beginning. You get out of the house. You get a great start. You get all the green lights. You get on the freeway. You know there's going to be some traffic. It's okay to be in the right-hand lane a little bit.
Absolutely, man. I mean, wonderfully put. If there's anything that I learned from Brian Spencer, who we all know is one of the best coaches in MLS history, is that there's ebbs and flows to a season. And you have to be ready to deal with those. And even now, with the Sounders being undefeated at home since last summer, Brian always talks about, look, I love the stat that we're undefeated at home, but I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. And that happens, right? I mean, it will be over, and certain streaks are over. And a team like LAFC that started as great as they did their job early to get the points. So when things like this happen, is not going to cost you a playoff spot. It's not going to cost you in the standings. Do they need to be better? Yes. I'm going to put it on the players as well, though. Look, the salaries came out, and Son makes way too much money for you not to be more influential, for you not to do more, to carry your team. And I'm not putting it all on him, because I do think that the problem with this team is the midfield, and Tillman has gone from bad to worse almost, and in just unable to really generate more and distribute and be good on the ball. Eustaquio, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's fitness that they're trying to get him right or not, but he's a guy that needs to be on the field because there's no one else that can do it for this team. Defensively as well. I mean, just too many mental lapses. Tafari is a very good athletic center back, but there are times where the read of the game and the anticipation and the understanding of how to cut angles is just not quite there. So I do put it on the players to get themselves out of this bad moment. Now, Bwanga did start with Son yesterday, and it was Martinez that didn't start. Do I think Martinez should be starting with those other two guys up top? Certainly. But I think that's what we're talking about. Marc Dos Santos moving forward will figure that part out. You get these guys off of this funk, and then you can truly assess whether this team is on a free fall or not. But I find it funny that there are times that we just ignore very obvious factors that can affect the team and just blame people.
Mm-hmm. Before we turn the page and start looking at the weekend, Messi and friends had another match of chaos in Cincinnati. Goes from Cincinnati in the back and forth to literally somebody basically telling Messi and friends they can't hit the snooze button anymore. And literally, it is wild at times. It's not a surprise, mind you, but it's just wild to see that switch get flipped. And you know that they're coming and there isn't anything you can do about it. You end up with Messi scoring to make it 1-0. Denke from the spot to make it 1-1. Pavel Buka gives Cincinnati a lead early second half 2-1. Then that Messi dude comes in to draw it even at 2-2. 3 goals in 10 minutes. It was that fast when you had lockdown. Silvetti, Berterame, and they instead of giving Messi a hattie, they give Celentano an own goal. But 3 goals in 10 minutes, you go from 2-1 down, and then Evander scores in the 64th also as a part of this chaos. But 3 goals in 10 minutes, you go from 3-2 down to 5-3 up. And if you're doing juice boxes, I think right now you just got to sit there and take Messi and friends in the over from this point going forward. Orlando had 7 goals on the board in their match with Philly. What else sticks out with you from last night?
Well, you got to talk about the big ones. I will say Silvetti coming in the 77 changed the game completely. Now, I'm not going to give Hoyos his flowers because it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. But, I mean, Silvetti does come into that game and completely changes that. And I think he's a big reason why they were able to get back into that offensive juggernaut that so many times we've seen in the past with Inter Miami. I cannot go through what happened yesterday and not highlight Julian Hall. Hat trick, youngest hat trick in MLS history. The kid looks phenomenal. He is a player to watch. I'm excited to see his progress. So that was a big one for me. James Rodriguez, goodbye, sir. It was a pleasure knowing you. No more in MLS. Minnesota drops points. They wanted to fight the staff. It was just craziness for Minnesota. But they're a team that's also on free fall watch for me. I don't see and it's early. I'm not going to be inconsistent with my take. It's early for this coach, but I don't see the concepts. I don't see the principles of play, and they tend to really rely on just moments for certain guys in order to get results. And that's not what I'm used to seeing from Minnesota. But other than that, it was a great Vancouver-Dallas game. Vancouver continues to put their mark. Peter Musa continues to be in the Golden Boot race. Certainly going to be one of those MLS All-Stars that we love so much. But Vancouver continues to just prove that they are a different type. They are them. I am him, right? That's who they are. They go into a game knowing that they're going to be able to inflict their tempo and win games. And that was a really fun game to watch.
I got a couple here for the weekend. Vancouver at Houston. Vancouver favored on the road at Hell in a Shell at a -111. Seattle hosting LAG at a -141. RSL hosting Colorado, big favorite, -161. San Diego FC, even money +100, hosting Cincinnati, who comes in at a +240. San Jose and FCD at a -133, FC Dallas a +309. And then Sunday night, Nashville hosting LAFC at a +104. LAFC on the road is a +225. What do you think?
Wow. There's some interesting matchups, some that I want nothing to do with, to be quite frank. But how about we started off with that Houston Vancouver, starting with the goal compose for that specific game. But read me those numbers one more time, because I kind of want to check that one out.
Houston and the draw right now are a plus 280. Vancouver on the road favored at a minus 111. Totals 2.5 minus 167, 3.5 plus 150. That's where it turns.
Yeah, I'll take the 3.5. Look, I don't want to give Houston enough, too much credit. They are fun to watch, like I said. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one, but there's no way Houston draws this game. There's no way Houston wins this game. I'm not taking Vancouver with those odds, but I mean, you can. But I just think Vancouver's just too good. But I like the 3.5. But it'll be a fun game to watch. I mean, this is one of those games that I do have marked because it'll be interesting just watching a fun back and forth game. But as I mentioned just a little bit ago, Vancouver is just too good at holding possession. Berhalter's a man on a mission to get himself a spot for the World Cup or just get this team across the mark. He continues to score all kinds of types of goals, and he's so just good on dictating the game from his position. So I just think Vancouver's too good, but I'll take that 3.5. And then what's up with the Galaxy Sounders? That's another interesting one, although I think it's going to be another heavy favorite for the Sounders.
Sounders minus 141 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Draw plus 309, LAG a plus 350. Then your goals, 1.5 a minus 588, 2.5 a minus 175, and once again it flips at 3.5. 3.5 is a plus 138.
Woo. Yeah, I like none of that. I will say that this is a good game, though. Seattle, to me, is going to win this game. They tend to play very well at home against the Galaxy. After seeing how gappy and easy to cut through LA Galaxy is, I do think that is going to be a easy game for the Sounders to handle. There'll be some rotation, so I'm interested in that. You are probably going to see Jordan Morris in this one. This could be a Jordan Morris game, by the way. He needs to get going. If there's something that the Sounders need is for that number 9 to take over. Osase scores, Danny scores, Jordan scores, but not from the 9th position. There's actually a really interesting stat that Jeremiah Sham from Southern Heart put out there, is that the Sounders have not gotten any more than, I believe, 1 goal from their starting 9 this season. And so that's interesting. They got to get that going. I think the LA Galaxy game will be. But you know what? I have a strong urge to ask you about the San Diego-Cincinnati game. I don't know why. It just kind of caught my eye. At first, I didn't like the numbers, but now I'm kind of looking at it, and maybe San Diego could pull off an upset there.
Okay, San Diego's a plus 100. They're even money. FC Cincinnati's a plus 240. Draw is a plus 309. Your totals.
They're messing with this, man. They're messing with this. San Diego should get more.
And the total is actually very high. It doesn't flip until 4. Plus 150 at 4, plus 4.5 at 225. So that one, to me, I'm just going to watch that one. I'm not going to touch it.
Stay away from that one. How about Inter Miami Portland? That's another one that I could give you 4.5. I mean, let's check that one out.
4.5 is plus 163.
No way. Woo. Okay. Yeah, and there's nothing on the man. There's some difficult games this time around. But that's going to be an interesting one. Look, Inter Miami, as you mentioned, they continue to impose their will. They're trying to figure it out. I mean, it could be, SpongeBob SquarePants calling the shots from the bench, and they would still get the results that they're getting right now. Portland is not a very good team, regardless of what you may hear from Mr. Neville, who is pretty interesting how he continues to get just enough good results to keep his job. and he continues to, I don't know, have some really weird post-game conferences, calling out players kind of, but not really, and opening up the umbrella, abriendo el paraguas. I mean, he's waiting. He's trying to hold on for his job. He's trying to create all kinds of different narratives so he doesn't. But this is going to be a difficult game for Portland. I mean, I don't see a way that Portland wins this game against Inter Miami.
No, I don't either. The way that I would phrase it when it comes to Neville, he reminds me of a lot of coaches under big contracts in the Southeastern Conference in college football that got really big buyouts. And the fans see a team that might be bowl eligible. They might finish up 7-5, and they've got a team with a big buyout. And it's like he's 4-5 with 3 games to go on his deal, on his season. And they're thinking, I don't know how we're going to be bowl eligible or anything like this. Then they'll win homecoming. They'll get to 5-7. They'll win a game on the road that they're not supposed to. Then they'll be at 6-5, and then it's the rivalry game at the end of the year that they have no chance of winning, and they'll win that one to go to 7-5, a minor bowl game, and they'll go, see, it's turning around, and he keeps his job, and then you end up with that same cycle, and then he gets fired like 2 years later.
I totally agree, and that seems to be the route that they're going in. Look, Neville's a likable guy, apparently, and he, knows how to spin his truth, if you will. And so he's going to continue to have some of these games where he is up and down, shake it all around, but keeps his job, right? So that was interesting.
It's the MLS hokey pokey with Phil Neville.
Absolutely. Give me one more, though. What about the Orlando City-Atlanta game? What is that looking like?
Oh, brother, you want to go down that road, huh? Considering we're going to have Mike Gramajo on from West TV in Orlando tomorrow, because you're looking at a game that is going to be Saturday in Major League Soccer and then again in Tuesday on Open Cup. And so it's quarterfinals in the Open Cup, and you're 3 wins away from getting into CONCACAF. Purple team is a +110. Draw is a +290, and Atlanta United is a +220.
Okay, I give up. I'm not going anywhere this weekend. I'm not putting anything this weekend, man. Yeah, nothing's calling my name, and I'm just gonna keep it that way. That's another one. Maybe I'll just watch for sure. But it'll be interesting. Look at Orlando City. It's another interesting team. That I did not see that 4-3 game going the way it did. I really didn't. And Sullivan getting his first goal, phenomenal, this and that. But Orlando City is difficult to kind of gauge, to be honest. So I'm staying away from it. But as always, I wish Atlanta the best, because you guys are right here in my heart, right here.
Yep. All right. So Sounder at Heart Pulso Sports, hit me.
That's right. We will be meeting up in studio again tomorrow for what we learned this week. That has been so much fun to now do in studio with Jeremiah Shan. So if you get a chance, go ahead and check out Lobbin Scorchers, and give us your comments on the setup, on the dynamic. I really want you guys to go check that out. We'll be breaking down this game that just happened. We'll be going into the LA Galaxy game. How can the Sounders set up for that particular game? So that's going to be interesting. And on Monday, we're going to have Love and Scorchers kickoff, of course. And on YouTube for the Pulso Sports channel, we have everything that we gather throughout the week. Obviously, we're going to have Brian Smetzer talking tomorrow. We have all of the Bruce Arena press conference was really fun. So check that out. That's on Pulso Sports already up. So if you want to check that out, it's interesting. Also, Nick Fernandez scored his first goal with San Jose. We got to talk to him. That's also on Pulso Sports. So go ahead and check all of it out, man.
As always, we will do that, my friend. Be safe, be good, and we'll catch up with you again next week, because we'll have a couple of things to discuss, as we always do. Love you very much. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you, my friend.
There we go, Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart. All right, let's put a bow on the day. Southampton, they have a date for a hearing. because of the new alleged Spygate stuff. Dan Kilpatrick, and that's as of 5 minutes ago. Independent hearing into the alleged spying on their championship playoff opponent Middlesbrough. It's going to be heard Tuesday next week, according to the EFL. Statement from the EFL, Independent Disciplinary Commission hearing will take place on or before Tuesday, 19 May. Exact date remains under discussion and is expected to be confirmed shortly. The commission will issue its decision as soon as possible following consideration of the relevant submissions and evidence. And they had another couple of paragraphs. And Southampton, charged by the EFL with a rule breach, beat Middlesbrough in the playoff decider at St. Mary's, setting up the meeting with Hull on the 23rd. Middlesbrough pushing for the greatest sporting sanction possible to be imposed on Southampton by the independent panel, including expulsion from the playoffs. Among the body of evidence Middlesbrough will provide to the EFL is a photograph of the alleged spy, and it's the one that has been making the rounds from the four-letter paper and the Athletic and everybody. A young man standing half covered by a tree, holding up his mobile phone. He has been named as William Salt, a member of Tonda Eckert's backroom analysis team. Middlesbrough also have details of a credit card used by the quote-unquote spy at the golf club adjacent to Rockcliffe. Middlesbrough gathering other evidence and have a statement from a former member of Southampton's staff regarding the practice of spying in quotation marks on opponents before matches, according to sources briefed on the matter. Club have engaged the services of a high-profile sports lawyer. And Phil Parsons, Southampton's chief exec, published a letter on the club's website. And per its own rulebook, clubs are given 14 days to respond to charges. EFL has sought to expedite the process and has asked the disciplinary panel to shorten the response period and to list a hearing at the earliest opportunity. So EFL has told The Athletic it is discussing ticketing information, and we'll go from there. But it's looking like another couple of days. So it should be 5 days apparently before the hearing is going to allegedly happen. You had players. Contenders for the postseason awards. Player of the year. It is young player of the year. Cherokee, Mateus Fernandez, Lewis Hall, Coyote, Junior Krupe, Kobe Mainu, Nico O'Reilly, Alex Scott. Then you have manager of the season. It is no real shocks. Andrews, Arteta, Carrick, Guardiola, Iraola, and Lebris from Sunderland. You have player of the season nominees, Bruno Fernandes, Gabriel, Gibbs-White, Holland, Raya, Rice, Semenyo, and Igor Thiago. And those are the awards that have been pushed forward by the Premier League. So let's see. We got that. Michael Carrick, we mentioned that. And the halftime show has been announced for the final. Madonna, Shakira, BTS, and curated by Chris Martin. A FIFA World Cup first, supporting the FIFA Global Citizen Education Fund, landmark initiative working to raise $100 million to expand access to quality education and football for children around the world throughout the tournament. $1 from every ticket sold goes to the fund. So that came out this morning as well. Burnley currently shortlisting for their managers. Several new candidates are in the mix. Brian Barry Murphy, John Eustace contenders. Wales expect Craig Bellamy to stay with them. Arne Slot on his future at his Friday opportunity. When a manager doesn't have their best season, there's always debate. Not up to me to judge the people that judge me. They have every right to have their opinion, and in this modern time, everyone can share it. By the way, this happened 10 to 15 years ago, but you did it in a pub and not everyone heard it. Now it's more out in the open than it was back in the day. Talks have been ongoing between the club and new players, and I'm involved in that. I have every reason to believe I'm at Liverpool manager next season. First of all, I'm contracted to this club. Second, from all the talks we're having, that's my take on it. So that is the notes from Arne Slot. Remember, top of the hour, it is one more round of a full Red Clay soccer report presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. It is Dustin Jeanette from GMC, Marcia Thompson from Tryon, Michelle McKinnon, technology permitting, from Atkinson County. She'll be away from campus, and we'll hear from Matt Cheeves from Dalton coming up at starting at noon Eastern. Also, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it before we get out of here, and come back at noon for more stuff. It is, let's see what other news. Real Madrid have called for elections after the Perez move. And Joe Scally is going to decide his club future after the World Cup. Chris Wood is headlining New Zealand's World Cup squad. And Christian Pulisic has given Milan and the men's national team a positive injury update. And he's likely to recover from a lower back injury in time for the penultimate Serie A match this weekend. Missed the match against Atalanta on Sunday, and it is the longest goal-scoring drought of his career. Trained with the Milan squad on Wednesday, should be available for the Rossoneri and Max Allegri for Sunday's match at Genoa. Final game of the season, home versus Cagliari the following week. Hasn't scored in 17 matches since December 28th. Scoreless in 8 games for the United States. Now, it is gossip, rumor, and innuendo. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. We'll get you into that. Coming up very, very early this morning, Manchester United revived interest in Dortmund midfielder Joe Bellingham, according to Team Talk. And Bellingham struggled to settle at first, featured heavily, 44 appearances across all comps, looking to Manchester United's interest as they look for midfield options. Chelsea, Manchester United monitoring Real Sociedad attacker Ander Barnechea. According to Marca, can play on the left or the right, 3+5 this season. Claimed both Premier League clubs hesitant to spend too much on transfer fees for squad players, with Barnechea seen as a key option to fit that role. PSG have opened the door to Valverde. Diario AS reporting, saying the French club contacted Real Madrid's entourage for an informal conversation to, quote, ask for context about the situation. PSG are aware Valverde is not thinking about leaving Madrid despite his training ground altercation with Aurelien Tchouameni. Broad terms agreed to by Anthony Gordon and Bayern Munich ahead of a possible move this summer, according to TalkSport. Bundesliga champs heavily linked with a switch. Club-to-club discussions still to be held. Newcastle have set a valuation of at least £75 million for Anthony Gordon, who is scored 17+5 across all comps. Magpies believe there's interest elsewhere in case they don't reach an agreement with Bayern Munich. Rodri, close to renewing his contract with Manchester City, amid links with a potential move to Real Madrid, according to Matteo Moretto. Decision on his future is imminent. City now willing to accelerate the process. Current deal runs through until 27, 20 times in the Premier League this campaign with injury issues. Michael Carrick in line to become the permanent manager for Manchester United, as the club's, quote, football leaders will recommend him to the Old Trafford Executive Committee. Fabrizio Romano, Lewandowski's talks over a new contract at Barca are on hold. The possibility of a transfer exit as a free agent now is, quote, very close. Sky Switzerland. Manchester United have held talks with the reps of Atalanta midfielder Ederson, which have given the green light over a move to Old Trafford. Manuel Neuer has agreed to a new contract with Bayern Munich, according to Florian Plettenberg. The 40-year-old taking a reduced salary to extend his stay at the club to 16 years. Ekrem Konur, Sporting CP, have given the green light for Morten Schulman to leave this summer. Arsenal, Manchester United interested in the midfielder. Newcastle, according to Konur, have made contact to sign Jared Bowen, with him also being linked from West Ham to Liverpool and Everton. Nikola Schira. Arjun Muric is set to return to Ipswich Town as the permanent deal option on his loan won't be triggered by Sassuolo. From Bild, RB Leipzig will need to sanction exits at the end of the year. Castello Luqueba, Artur Vermeeren, Lucharel Geertruida, and Elgif Elmas among the names listed for possible aways. AS, Atletico de Madrid, interested in PSG's Gonzalo Ramos and Lee Kang-in. The Ligue 1 champs have been linked with a move for Julian Alvarez. Cambiasso, a target for Como this summer. The Juve defender has been linked with Premier League clubs. That's from Gazzetta dello Sport. And also, Gazzetta says Juve set for a meeting with PSG over a move for Randall Colomawani, with him set to return to Paris at the end of the season from his loan at Spurs. Now, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Brought to us by our friends at Fanatis, ftz.co/soccer down here. Fanatis, that link helps them, helps us, helps you. Adds to the streaming services that you have, adds to the ones that you got, gives you a lot more that you can stream on a daily basis. What is on TV today? BN has Libertadores and Sudamericana. It is La Guaira and Rivadavia at 6, Peñarol Corinthians at 8:30, Sudamericana, Macará and Alianza Atletico at 10. BN and Espanol is simulcasting. With Fanatis, you get all the BNs, which means you get Turkish League, French League, and Polish League. You get all the attention to CAF. You get African Champions League, African qualifiers, Libertadores, Sudamericana. You get all of those. You also get CDO out of Chile, TVV out of Venezuela if you want to add it. You get Liga 1 Max Pro out of Peru, ties to Tigo Sports, ties to CATV, a lot of the A and B divisions and a lot of other nations inside South America. So that's BNB en Español. ESPN Deportes doubleheader in La Liga, 1 and 3:30. Fox Deportes Copa do Brasil involving Flamengo at 8:30 tonight. La Liga triple header on ESPN Plus, and the Youth Cup final, Manchester Derbies at 2 o'clock on the Plus as well. Also, Paramount Plus has League One playoffs, Bradford City, Bolton Wanderers at 3 o'clock. That is on Picks of the Week, by the way. So if you have yet to send in your picks to the Discord, we're going to say that opening ceremonies for World Cup is the end of segment 1. Then we're going to wipe it off the board, segment 2 the rest of the way, and then we'll figure out a campeón de campeones kind of a thing and figure out the table from the rest of it from there. So that is what is on TV today, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, brought to us by our friends at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Let me check any other news that I might have forgotten on the way out the door. It is, I'm trying to see if there's anything that I might have missed. Obviously, the All-Star Game voting is available for you if you wish to pursue that. And it's available for you there. Let's see. La Liga relegation race is chaos. Espanyol ended a 143-day winless streak. So we'll get into Spain and their chaos because you had 3 teams separated by either 3 points and or goal difference going into the competition that was there. So that was rather intriguing to get set up for last match day. Well, since we're here, we'll go ahead and say it. Let's see. So we need La Liga. Okay, so you have 3 matches today, which gets you set up for the last match day. Now, last match day is going to yield this. And it's all at the bottom in the relegation fight. That's where we're talking here. You got, after 36 matches with 2 to go, you now have 4 teams with 39 points with either 2 or 3 matches to go. Girona have a match in hand. Elche, Mallorca, Levante, Girona, all at 39 points. Alaves is at 40. Osasuna, Valencia, and Espanyol are at 42. So literally 12 through 19 have to be on their best behavior for the next 3 or 2 matches. Like I said, Girona's playing today. You would anticipate that with them playing Real Sociedad, it would be a tough call for them to get any points on the deal. But you have 4 teams at 39 points. Goal difference separating is 6. Elche at -9, Mallorca -11. Levante and Girona each have -15, but Levante has 1 more win, 7 more goals scored. So that's where you are. 12 through 19 have to worry about relegation right now in La Liga. So it's going to be crazy today and the next 2 weeks. You thought Poland was messy? This is crazy. So we'll keep an eye on La Liga for the remainder of the deal too. So we got that to look at in just a little bit. Reminder, top of the hour. It is, my guess is, the last full Red Clay soccer report at noon. We're going to catch up with champions next week, and we'll see when we can get them into the schedule. So Red Clay Thursday, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Noon Eastern. Dusty Jeanette, GMC. Marsha Thompson, Tryon. It is Michelle McKinnon, Atkinson County. Matt Cheeves from Dalton. Those 4. Coach Cheeves is in testing today. We had to tape it yesterday. So that's a rundown for Red Clay on noon Eastern. Today, you have your 4 matchups. Luke Winstall and I are going to be in Thomaston for Class A Division I. Maddie and Jason are going to be in Duluth for 6A. Class A Division I, 4 o'clock, Thomasville and Model. Class 6A girls, 5 o'clock, 2 nationally ranked in the top 6, West Forsyth and Walton. 6:30-ish, Class A D1 boys, Thomasville and Armurchie. Class 6A boys, once again, 2 teams ranked top 10 nationally, Meadow Creek and Walton. That one's set for 7:30 tonight. NFHS Network, or if you are near Thomaston and or Duluth High School, go visit. It's great soccer. You've got matchups with 4 teams ranked top 10 in the 6A. You can see them go at it to try to determine who gets a championship coming up at 5 and 7:30 tonight. Luke Winstill and I, once again, we're going to be at Thomaston for the Class A matchups. Can Thomasville get the daily double today? We'll find out coming up this afternoon. So back in a half an hour, we'll break it all down for you when it comes to the red clay. And it's been a great day today. Thanks to Marist, Curtis Engsberg. Thanks to Johnny Jackson for trying to deal with the technology at Blessed Trinity and all the concrete walls. And thanks to Nino and Nico for breaking things down around the planet. The Power Hour, everything in 60 minutes and more. And thanks to all of you for hanging out with us as you always do, coming back in a half an hour. Since it is the end of the show, that means I get to do this. Mucho Platiel, play it safe. And Red Clay coming back up top of the hour.